So in the conversation where I said Donald Trump is not a brilliant political strategist, he, I believe, was used kind of as a Trojan horse because he didn't want to go to prison for his 34 felonies, obviously. And I think a lot of entities saw an opportunity to get into the White House by supporting his campaign financially or with other possible and unproven nefarious activities regarding the election. But I just think it's very clear because of how they're all connected. So I started building a really big web. I know you couldn't see shit just now, but like just to show you that I am actually building this web. It's in a program called Obsidian, which I've never used before, but it's actually really cool. And you can type out like a sentence of how a connection is made, and then like basically it builds this little web for you. The web is so extremely interconnected. It's insane. And some pieces of this web are obviously Donald Trump, but also the Heritage Foundation, and how that's connected to Donald Trump, even though he said basically, I don't really know anything about that. Like, I don't have anything to do with Project 2025, which is fucking not true, because there's so many pieces to this. First of all, JD Vance wrote the foreword in Kevin Roberts' book, and Kevin Roberts was the president of the Heritage Foundation since 2021, also one of the main architects of Project 2025. Another primary architect of Project 2025 was Russell Voigt, whatever, and he is in Trump's cabinet. He's the director of the Office of Management and Budget. He was also America First Legal's board treasurer, and America First Legal is a nonprofit kind of like legal conservative organization that was founded by Stephen Miller, who is in Heritage Foundation videos. And then also Russell Vogt was the former vice president of the Heritage Foundation's sister organization, Heritage Action for America, which is its lobbying arm. So that's just some of the Heritage Foundation stuff connected to Trump. But then also America First Legal had this like offshoot branch called Citizens for Sanity, and Elon Musk donated a shit ton of money to that to donate to Donald Trump. So there's so much to it. And then obviously Elon Musk co-founded PayPal with Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is like really close homies. Supposedly they definitely have a relationship with Curtis Yarvin, who is like the founder of the Dark Enlightenment movement, and who basically believes we need to have a king and this should be a monarchy. And his ideas are whack as all hell, and honestly also really dangerous. And JD Vance has been obsessed with Peter Thiel, and Peter Thiel's like the primary mentor of JD Vance for a very long time. And in fact, Peter Thiel took JD Vance to Mar-a-Lago for his first meeting with Trump. Peter Thiel also helped bail Trump out in 2016 when the Access Hollywood tapes came out. And in doing so was then given an office in Trump Tower where he was making recommendations for who should be in the incoming administration. So that's some of the Peter Thiel of it all that's connected to the Elon Musk of it all. And Elon Musk is obviously connected to the Doge of it all, and obviously also to the Citizens for Sanity and to SpaceX and Tesla and Trump. And also now Tesla and SpaceX have government contracts, which so does Palantir, which was founded by Peter Thiel. And all of this pro AI kind of stuff is happening. There's some pro AI language in the big, beautiful bill. There's a pro AI kind of shift, it seems, in other legislation that's going through Congress, and tracks because Neuralink relies on AI, and that's an Elon Musk company. And Palantir is an AI surveillance company, basically, that was used in Israel and is now like has a contract with many arms of the US government, but including ICE, to do most likely predictive policing. And then when we think about who funded all these companies, Peter Thiel's Founders Fund was a primary donor to SpaceX, to Facebook back in the day, Meta now, to obviously Palantir, his own company, Neuralink, Elon Musk's company, and then Tlon. I don't really know how to pronounce that, but that's Curtis Yarvin's weird project. And then Andreessen Horowitz is Mark Andreessen's, his venture whatever firm. And that has also been a primary donor to Meta and to Tlon, fucking whatever Curtis Yarvin's thing is. So yeah, the rabbit hole is so deep, and this web is so interconnected, and AIPAC is a part of it. Some of the primary, like, big, huge donors to Donald Trump are obviously also huge donors to AIPAC, like Miriam Adelson and Paul Singer, I believe. Yep. And it's just, and then we have like Timothy Mellon, who, like, why the hell is he in here? He's like one of the biggest donors to Trump as well. And he was also donating to RFK, presumably and reportedly in order to kind of, you know, siphon votes away from the Kamala Harris campaign. But people say he's really private, and I think some of the assumptions are that he just doesn't really want to be taxed, and he's like from a multi-generation line of billionaires, the Mellon family. Obviously, Stephen Miller, connected to Project 2025, as I already said, connected to ICE. He was the one back in the first Trump administration and now who has been like really all about separating families and doing all these gnarly things to undocumented immigrants. And he is married to Katie Miller, Katie Miller was working for Doge, and then she left and started working for Elon Musk. And like, who knows what the fuck is going on there? There's that's an interesting conversation. And then, yeah, so it's just, this web is crazy. I will talk about it more or give like more of a thorough overview when I have everything really nailed down. But right now it's a very preliminary version. I've only worked on this for like a couple of days. So yeah, but I wanted to let y'all know that I'm doing this. If anyone has anything they want to add, please let me know. I want to say, people kept saying like, Trump's not innocent. I don't think that. I do not think he's innocent. I think he is vile. And I think that being a Trojan horse for whomever does not absolve him of anything. I just think that he's not the mastermind, and all of the people that support him and all the MAGA folks, I think that they would be singing a different tune if they knew that he wasn't the brains behind the operation, because the things that they're supporting fly in the face of the things that they're supposed to believe and be aligned with. But they're supporting it because it's him doing it. But it's not really him, I don't think. I think it's the Project 2025 playbook. I mean, a significant proportion of the EOs he has signed are aligned exactly with Project 2025. And it has been reported, I believe by Reuters, I said it in another one of my videos, that the Heritage Foundation was providing the Trump transition team with like draft executive order examples. Like, it's crazy. I don't think he's innocent. I think he fucking sucks. But like, I think he's not intelligent enough to be like the brains behind this massive operation that is like religious and racist and all fucking about money and power. And it's global too. Like I said, I have Israel and AIPAC on here. Like, it's fucking wild. So yeah, I just want to talk about that. And the reason it's important to talk about is because of what I just said. I think that if the MAGA folks knew the truth about all of this stuff, they would be like, what the fuck? Because Project 2025 literally was rejected by everyone, period. Regardless of your political beliefs, it had a 4% approval rating in September of 2024. People were like, fuck that. And now it's like the law of the land. So yeah. Let me know if you want to contribute anything to this. Only facts. Facts are important. We must speak about this in a grounded way. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a real conspiracy. And in fact, Peter Thiel said to Curtis Yarvin, I said this in my other video, that basically people on the left wouldn't know a conspiracy if it hit them over the head because they're too worried about making linkages and being like, oh, this is a bigger story, because it makes them look crazy, and we don't want to look crazy, and we don't want to look like they're right, so we don't do that. But this is a real conspiracy and is real, and that's all.